We got sales going. We're getting our live stream going as we come along. It is happening. Little technology. That's why we get our pre-sessions here. There we are. We are live everywhere.
Go.
We get going. Woohoo. Yes, indeed. So everyone just come on in as you come in. Get settled, get comfortable, and we'll be starting in just a moment. We give you a little extra preparation time so you can get your water, get settled in, get ready because we are going to get started in about 30 seconds or so.
The
So
camera is on.
we got Christina over here checking on the chat, making sure we're all taken care of. So welcome everyone to connect with Christina and say hello. And I think we're all good. Are we all good tech-wise? We're recording, we're live on YouTube.
Oh, let's hit him with the
Right.
sales. Hit him with the sales.
Let's get it going.
And I
All
have to say,
right.
before we start, this is my favorite training that Tanya does. Hands down.
Aw.
It is my favorite training. It had changed the way that I approach sales conversations, and it gave me a really a framework that I felt is respectful and logical, and it just feels good going into sales conversations. So this is such a good one, Tanya.
Yes, and this is the goal. This is the goal is that we get a lot of information about creating sales that are respectful, that aren't manipulative. And the idea is beautiful, but we have to go, well, how do I do that though?
Yes.
In practical steps, how do I do that? What's the process? And that's what we're going to break down today. So as we're getting started, I'm going to go ahead and do all that fun stuff like sharing screens and all of that.
Oh,
So this is just the tech stuff of what it looks like, everyone. That's part of it, right? So let's get some nice visuals going. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. So we seeing that okay? Got a thumbs up. All right. We're seeing the screen. Awesome. Awesome. Well, welcome to Modern Business Mastery. This is your first time hanging out with us. This is a place where we ditch the old ways of doing business and we step into what modern business is, and a thing that is respectful, that is full of integrity, and in a way that makes business expertise available to everyone. So come on in and join us as we dive into the 6C's of sales today, from conversation to conversion. So again, if you're new here, if it's the first time you're hearing about us or you're seeing us streaming, this is something that we do in our Modern Business Mastery free community. So that QR code's right there on the screen. You can easily join. But we really created this to ensure that every entrepreneur has access to these tools and support when they're needed, both for well-being and your business growth, right? That's all connected. We can't have one without the other. And we support you in a lot of ways. So make sure you come in and check that out. We'll share a little bit about what that is before we get started, but also connect with us. So if you're a community person, please be there, but we get it. Not everyone's that person. So we are on LinkedIn, we are on Instagram, and of course here on YouTube if you're finding us there. So we invite you to join, connect. We are real people. We're paying attention. There isn't a velvet rope here. So please reach out and let us know how we can support you or cheer you on. So here we are, ways to connect. And we also have our MBM Academy for those who are looking for that next step up. If you want to have your entire strategy and everything put together, we have a way to help you do that quickly, effectively, and bespoke to what you are doing. So make sure to check that out. We're not going to go too long into all these details because that's what we're here for today. But for those of you who are going, how do I get more of this? We have a lot of resources for you. Of course, we also have our Mastery 360 Mastermind, which is a very, very advanced, detailed support and process for those who are on that mastery path and in that space of entrepreneurship to go to that next level. And then, of course, many courses and workshops that are available to you year round for all different price points. Again, lots of stuff for free, things as low as $47. So there's something for everybody here. Again, just make sure to just join the free community. There's no catch. It's all tons of resources open and available for you there. So if you're going, that sounds great. What happens in this community? Well, here are a couple things that we have going on a regular basis. We have virtual work sprints, which we call work bubbles. It's your time to get work done. So again, all of these are free in our community. We also have our copy clinics where you have an actual copy expert come and give you specific support and feedback on your copy projects. We have our Nourish and Flourish, which helps support you in the wealth, which is your health. And so we get in a space where Coach Coop teaches us how to stay nourished and to flourish in this crazy pace that entrepreneurship often brings. Then, of course, where else would we be without a little bit of planning, a little bit of reflection? We got to know where we've been and where we're headed. And so we offer these times once a month for you to get clear and organized on what you're doing, what you want to do, how you're going to do it with the wisdom of where you've been. And so those are available. We also have our newest sessions, which are brand alchemy. So as you're trying to build your brand and make sense of it, we break a lot of the rules of what people believe brands have to look like or be in one particular passion. You can do all the things. And we've carved out that niche with you and help you figure out how to stand out and be visible. And we do that with our wonderful brand specialist, Rose Alchemisi as well. And then if that was enough, we have these wonderful community sessions like this hosted by myself, Tanya MFK, and Christina Hellman, who are here to support in anywhere from marketing strategy and all the other details that glue this together to create a business that doesn't take your soul away. Okay. And so that's what we're doing here in the MVM community. That's why we're so excited about it. And again, encourage you to join if this is new to you or it's the first time that you're hearing about it. That's what we're doing around here. So one of the things we do have for those members who are here today, don't forget to book your Hello sessions where we come in, we get to connect with each other as entrepreneurs, learn a little bit about you, and identify any resources or additional support that we can offer you to help you on your path. So make sure to book that if you haven't already. Those are, I should say book it, but we have those events, so make sure to RSVP to one if you haven't already. So I think that is all the housekeeping. We've given a few minutes for everyone to settle in, get their water, get their goodies. So welcome. This is today's agenda. So as a community, right, this isn't a lecture on things. We're going to talk about some good stuff, but this is a community connection. So we're going to go through some of our wins and lessons. So be prepared to share those in the chat. We're going to have a bit of a mindset shift as we move into our lesson today. And then we're going to go into the 6C's method, which is a process of sales conversations that honor each person in the conversation and guide them to what they need in a way that's not manipulative, that is respectful and feels good for everyone involved. And after we do that, we'll have a little bit of Q&A and we'll wrap up for the day. All right. So with that, we can put a good to go in the chat or any comments that you have there. Let us know that you're ready to go. I love that feedback. Just lets me know that we're not alone, even if we're on Zoom and all of those things. So yes, we got some good to go. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Okay. Well, then let's go ahead and get started. So when we're trying to keep a mindset for success, it is incredibly important that we find the wins because we are always winning. There's always something that we can go, wow, that was really good. And it could be a good sandwich. It could be you landed a client. But the thing is that if we don't train our brain now to find the wins, it's going to be really hard to push on when we're in our lows. So yes, it's great to find our wins and they feel fuzzy and they feel wonderful, but it's also really powerful to train our brain to consistently find that success. Because when we can see success, it inspires the next spiral of success, right? It helps us see that next spot. And then we can get into a beautiful loop. This is the one time we do want to be in a loop. We want to be stuck in the success loop. We want to be stuck in the progress loop. We want to see that every time we're winning, it inspires us to see that we can win so we can find more wins. And then when we're winning, we see more wins. And it's just a wonderful little loop to be in. Now, here's the thing. We're not about toxic positivity here. I understand that sometimes it's real tough to find that win. And when you find yourself in that position, there's a lesson there as well. And so if you just can't see that sandwich as a win and go, well, what's the lesson then? What is the lesson I can take from today? Because the truth is, like I said, we're either winning or we're learning. We only fail when we give up. So with that, to celebrate with you, make sure to drop in your wins, comment if you're on YouTube or you're watching the replay anywhere here, but think about your wins, comment your wins, life win, business win, it doesn't matter. There's no qualifiers here. So again, great coffee, that's a win. Tough week, might be still a win there. If we're finding it hard, just add that lesson in there. We're training our brain, right? We're training our brain to see what's out there, what supports us, all right? So make sure you're commenting that, you're finding that. I know Christina's in the chat, she'll cheer on with you. So we're keeping that going. So as we're moving from our wins, I want to share with you some of the June elements. Now, if this is new for you, again, I know we have a lot of new members now, new people watching this on the stream. Every month, we look at 4 core elements that we can harness and step into to grow as entrepreneurs, to grow as people, to grow in our relationships and our health, our wealth, and all of these areas. And we've narrowed it down to 4 key things. So we push ourselves in a mission, specifically towards a business uncomfortability is what I was going to say. Something that pushes us a little bit out of our entrepreneur box to do things that train us to step up and to step out. Right. And so sometimes those missions can be asking for sales. They can be, practicing different elements of courage. Right. This month in June, our goal, our challenge that we're presenting to each of our members here is to reach out to one person. That's it, just one person each week to network, to simply say, hey, would you like to connect? Would you like to chat? Right? That's the only requirement. You don't have to ask for a sale. You don't have to do anything other than saying, why don't we chat? Why don't we connect? Right? That's your challenge, to find an opportunity every week to push yourself to just ask, see what happens. Right? The win is that you ask. The result in this situation, not as important. So we challenge you as an entrepreneur, what is it like to reach out to people simply to connect and chat? Now, again, that agenda has to be pure. Because if you're feeling like, oh, that my feels weird, they're going to think I want something. The question I'll say is, do you? Do you want something? Or do you want to just connect? Because when our intentions are pure, it's easy to ask, right? Next one we have is our monthly mind step. So this is something that we do every month to work on that mindset, to work on the way that we're thinking, the way that we're seeing things. So again, we know that these are incredibly important. So we give a little nugget each month to just push you a little bit to try something. So this month is the self-love letter. We actually have specific directions and a whole worksheet that you can find once you're in the group. If you're not already in there, simply go to Elements and try this practice out. Because as I was explaining earlier to our members, is that our inner dialogue usually not so great, right? And we all know that, and we go, oh, I got to do better. This is an actual practice, an actual practical practice that helps you change that inner dialogue, change that relationship to yourself. So this is a really powerful, simple tool that you can try this month to step into that self-love. Then, of course, we move into our Thrive tactic, right? So this is definitely in the space of health and our wealth, right? So sometimes it's movement, it can be food, it can be cold showers. We've done all kinds of things. But as we're coming into it, as we're in June and we're kind of slowing down and getting to the heat, what we want to do here is something very simple, right? It's something that's simple to do. It can also be simple not to do. So it's still a challenge here to ask you when it's spelled wrong, that's all right. So we got shoulder shrugs, right? Shoulder shrugs are simply this. You just shrug your shoulder up and release them down. And you just create some freshness, some release in the body, because we forget and we don't tend to notice how much we're holding when we're working and we're at the computer or whatever it is that we're doing. Sometimes we're clenching that jaw. So these things just remind us to let go. So again, pretty simple to do, also very simple not to do. That's why it's a challenge. And then if you're feeling saucy, step up and you're going to do some arm circles. I know you're probably thinking like flashbacks to junior high PE or something. Oh my gosh, right? But the truth is we got to incorporate the simplicity of these things to remember that we're not robots, right? AI hasn't taken over yet. We are not robots. And to come back into our body and kind of take a quick 30-second break from whatever it is that we're doing simply by remembering we are also a body, right? So that's our thrive tactic. And then last but not least, we have our motivation mantras. Every month we have a different mantra that can just hold space for us sometimes when we can't, right? And as things get hectic, as things get chaotic, a lot of parents and people are going through end of the year activities. Even without without kids, you're going through, people are inviting for a lot of things. The sun is out longer. We're working more. There's a lot going on, and it's important at that time for us to practice compassion. Practice compassion for ourselves that we don't need to work as long as the sun is out. We don't necessarily have to go to every event that's asked for us, and we're allowed to slow down. And how can we find compassion for ourselves, but also for others, right? Because they might be in a hectic place too, as this big kind of change goes on in our seasons. And also, as we're holding that space, how do we nurture growth? So as you're finding yourself in your moments, this is a North Star to go, okay, Tanya, practice compassion, nurture growth. How can I do that? So if you find this helpful, hang on to it. And again, all of these are optional, they're encouraged, but we also understand that everyone's in a different place. So if you find something that's useful, encourage you to commit to it. And if it's not for you right now, that's okay. Check out what we have next month. They do change every single month. So the other thing, again, if you're new here and this is the whole community thing, you're trying to sort it all out, we also have our quarterly book club. So we love learning, we love doing books, but we're not going to do the book every week. We're not on a mission for the 50 books a year. That's awesome for those that are, but we simply want to create a space to, over the course of 3 months, to choose one or both of the books that we have assigned for the quarter. So this particular quarter, as we're still it's rounding out of Q2 now, so we'll have some new books coming soon, is our case study, Anatomy of a $10 Million Online Business by Ollie Richards. This is a free download that you can get through us or directly from Ollie himself. It is an incredible, detailed study, but not too wild that it's jargony and makes you fall asleep, to understand the different nuances and processes that happen and have happened to create this $10 million online business. So if that is where you're gravitating towards, you're going, this could really help me, check that out. On the other side, we're looking at ourselves a little bit. We have the book Personality Isn't Permanent by Dr. Benjamin Hardy, who is a psychologist. And if you are just in a space to kind of figure out who you are, I know in entrepreneurship alone can really throw us for a loop. I know we have our branding gal in here. There's a lot of required of us to figure out who we are, right? Online and internally. Personality Isn't Permanent is a beautiful, beautiful walk through discovering what that is and also looking to create your future self. So that book is available in anywhere books are sold. So far has been incredible feedback on it. And if you just don't have the time, but you're curious, make sure to go into the community. And in there, we have updates each month on details of the book. So maybe you're more of a Cliff Notes person, we got you covered. So go in there and check it out, making sure that we're supporting you at all angles. So you know how to chat about books at the next party, right? That's what we'll have for you. So that's the book club that's happening all in our community. And again, if you're new there, still trying to sort it all out, we have an entire network of spaces there. We have our free community with lots of events and the feed. We have our members for the M360 members. They have all of their stuff. We got resources for you, the elements, the books, worksheets, replays of things like this and all of our other workshops and vetted vendors. And of course, we also have courses and workshops as they come along. So lots of stuff going on, and we're obviously super excited about it. So real time, what's happening next? Today, as you see right now, we are on the 6C's of sales. So welcome. I'm so glad that you're all here or watching the replay. Next thing we have coming up this Monday in real time, right? June 17th. Okay. We are looking at LinkedIn profile optimization. So if you are a LinkedIn user, this is the space for you, or you're LinkedIn curious. This is the space for you to really get your best start to be effective. That'll be held by a resident council member, and all the details are again to RSVP in the community. Same time, we also have our work bubble. This is our virtual work sprint, as I mentioned earlier, to give you 4 concentrated hours of time to focus on work in a community setting to keep you accountable. All right, so show up with whatever you need to work on and join the work bubble. Then we have our Q3 planning for our M360 members. So for those of you who are one of our paid members, we will be diving into some serious planning because Q3 is coming up. And then we slow down to our summer break, and you'll learn more about that in the community. And of course, we still continue to have our meetings and sessions and other things that go on through the summer. All right, so I think we got plenty of housekeeping there. And what I want to do now is, as we're stepping into talking about sales, I want to do a little bit of a mindset shift as we look at sales. So the mindset shift here is to remember great salespeople are relationship builders who provide value and help their customers win. Say that again, right? What's a great salesperson? Relationship builder. And what do? They provide value and help their customers win, right? It wasn't about who rang the bell and what next thing he closed, right? Who can build a relationship and provide value that helps their customers win, right? That's the mindset shift of what we're stepping into as learning how to create sales. We're not stepping into becoming salespeople. That's never what our goal is here. But we can create sales. A business requires sales, right? Without sales, you are a very expensive hobby, or at best, a lovely charity, okay? But even charities bring in donations. So really, what we want to do is learn how to be that relationship builder that provides value and helps our customers win. And the truth is you can do that before the sale as well. And you just continue that process on when they say yes. All right, so that's the mind shift that we're stepping in today. And without further ado, I think we're good. We good in the chat? Everyone's getting it. Awesome. Love it. Okay, so let's move into the session today. Maybe rather swift. So here's a quick overview. If some of you are the Cliff Notes person, like just get to the point, Tanya. You might be disappointed because I'm a chatter, but I'll do this for you, okay? The 6C's sales process starts with this. It's connect. What does that mean? We're locating, conversating, captivating. We're going to go into what that means a bit later. We clarify. Who is this for? Who is this not for? Then we chronicle. What is the typical path? And what is our unique better path? Then we confirm. Is this what you want? Does this align? Then we move to commit. Do you have the time and energy for this? Then we move to conversion. This is the price and the product. I want you to notice where the details of your price and product happen. Way at the end. It's in fact the least important until we get to the first 5 of the C's. That part is not relevant. So let's see and talk about what that looks like in real time. So the first thing that we're doing is we are connecting. We first need to connect. You can't sell to someone you're not connected to, right? That's a really difficult task. And so what we're doing here is we first have to find them. We have to create a conversation, and hopefully that conversation is captivating enough for them to want to continue, right? So connection, as we said, is to locate. You have to find your audience and create the path to conversation. If this is not already built into your current strategy or process, then we're missing the very first C, right? How are we actually finding these people and creating a path to speak in the first place, right? We don't subscribe to the interruption method, right? We're about permission marketing. So we're not going to go, hey, talk to me. We're going to figure out how we're creating the path to that conversation. And then, of course, what do we do next? We actually need to have that conversation. So as you're connecting with the people, where are you finding spaces to express, I understand you. I understand where you are. I understand where you want to go. Now, I'm using the word conversation, but that conversation may be a post. It might be a page. I call it a conversation because that is what it's standing in for. See, when we're working on social media, we're working digitally, we do not have the opportunity to speak individual to every single person we could ever connect to. And while that could be amazing, goodness, could it be exhausting? If we think about some of the numbers we have for followers and all of those things, it's really not possible. But if we only approach that as spamming, as selling, then we are missing out on the conversation. And so we need to decide, where am I showing up? Where am I locating, right? Where am I conversating? How am I sharing with them that I understand where they are, I understand who they are, and understand where they want to go? And how am I captivating them? How am I bringing them closer in to my space? And that looks like saying, I believe in your ability to reach your goals. I believe in my ability to serve you. We're just at the first C. We need to create these things to get started, right? That's what connection is. So how have we connected? So once we move on and we're going through this process, our next goal after the connection is to collect the yeses. All right, I'm going to go back up here for a minute. After you've connected, all we're doing here, and to clarify, is collecting the yeses. That is what we're working to do along the way. If at some point someone says, no, that's actually, I don't want that, we don't move all the way to the end, because we respect that this is not for them. This is not where they are. Right. So every time, every section, we're collecting the yes to move on to the next space. So let's go back to what that means. So our next C is clarify. So we've connected. I believe in my ability to help you. I understand where you're at. I understand that this is where you want to go. We just had a sales training today for M360 members. We talked a lot about the concept of diagnose and prescribe, that first level of connection is really about understanding where they're at, diagnosing the situation, and then eventually prescribing, right? So that's what we've done in that connection. That's why we say, I'm going to go back there for a moment, right? That's why we say, I understand you. I understand where you are. So this may happen in this, ideally, is starting on your sales conversation now, right? It sounds, you can do this. I got your goals and I know that I can help you do it. So we've gotten that far. Now we're not going to start pitching our product yet. We need to go, let me clarify for you who this is for and who this is not for. So you need to clarify the best candidate in that conversation. This is for people that do this. This is not for people who look for this. Now, what are some of those clarifying things for people? It could be personality. This is for people who are bubbly and wild. This is for people who are introverted and slower, right? This is our identity. Are you this is for moms. This is moms, or this is for punk rock moms, or this is for crunchy granola moms, right? What's the identity of this person? Hey, this is for this, but it's not for this types. It could be level of success. This is for people making over 20K a month. This is for people who have not reached their first 5K, right? Business model. This is for course creators. This is for, consultants. Availability. This is for people who have 20 hours to dedicate to this a week. This is for people who only have 15 minutes. Effort level. This is for people who are able to, put in the next 3 weeks of like nonstop focus. This is for someone who only has a short amount of time, has their hands full, right? So there's lots of different ways that we can clarify the best candidate, right? Clarify the best candidate is really in this conversation, letting them know, hey, our program is people who have been in business for a couple years. They're ready. They've done this, this, and this, and they know it's the next level. It's not for somebody who's just starting out with their idea. Right? Now, the reason I'm giving an example like that is because this little area of clarify the best candidate, I see a lot of people do this in an almost, on one end, I could say facetious way, on another end, I could say downright, I'm going to say shameful way. This is what I mean by that. They'll say, this isn't for people who want a magic bullet and think life is easy. Okay, I understand that. The truth is, most people don't think that that's what they want either. So you're not helping yourself in using that kind of clarity. And when I said shameful, it's just when we're kind of using things that are very derogatory. Isn't for people who are dumb, like that's not the kind of clarity we want. Okay. We're really trying to be clear about the type of person, maybe how they identify as, the level of success, their availability or effort level. So while that type of copy might work in other areas of your business, when we're talking about this for your sales process, this is about really letting them know who this is for. For our group, when people work with us in M360, this isn't for people who are doing business part-time. This is for somebody who this is their full focus. Because not because we think one's better than the other, but because the amount of work we're going to give to you is going to be someone who that's all they have for. Like this is all they're doing. If they're juggling, another job, it's not going to work well for them. So this is a legitimate clarification about who this is best for, right? We understand that? We got that going? Awesome. Okay. So after we've clarified who it's for, we can also clarify the location and the destination. So where are they now? So is this where you're at? Are you struggling here? Is this where you're frustrated? Are you so tired of posting and hearing crickets, all those things? So here's where collecting that yes. Oh, yes, that is me. That's my messy place. And you say, and so what you want to do is you want to be putting up things that are getting engagement and people are coming in and asking about working with you. Yes, that is the better place I want to be. Right. So we are collecting the yeses by creating this clarification of who it's for and the location and destination, where they're at and where they want to go. Right. So this is all that space of clarifying. So again, if you're looking at this as a sales call, your sales call, and we'll just do this a couple of times along the way today. Your sales call might start with, hey, this is awesome to meet. We've connected. I'm hearing what's going on with you. I see that you want to have something different, and I believe you have the pieces to make this happen. So the work that I do is specifically for this kind of person who has this kind of time. People who are currently working hard or doing this or doing that and want to reach to their six figures or whatever that might be, right? Do you understand how we're kind of moving this in a conversational process? And they go, yes, 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 that's what I want to do. That's where I want to be. Okay. So now we've come into the clarify, because they might have agreed, they might have had all the other parts, but then they're like, oh, that's not really me. I don't really have that kind of time. I don't really have, so we can stop the process there. But if we've collected the yes, now we can go into chronicle. And so what we chronicle is we go, well, see, what I'm looking at, Christina, is that people who are in your position, they want what you want. The typical path is that they work hard and they hustle 24/7. They undercharge, they overdeliver, and they end up in burnout. Now, our path is that we focus on balancing your time management. We look at value pricing and sustainable strategies. We look at creating predictable income and enjoyable days. That's the way we do it, right? This is incredibly important to chronicle their options. You walk through the path and go, what we see typically is people post, 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 post. They don't get any engagement. And then they go, well, LinkedIn doesn't work. Right. And then they miss out on a ton of opportunities. With our unique path, we're going to show you how to be visible, how to get engagement, how to turn that engagement into leads. That's our unique path, right? Now you see there's a little bonus there. If you know, and you've had the conversation, right? You've been clarifying with the person you're talking to, then you have a little extra insight to say, Christina, the typical path is we work hard, we hustle 24/7, you undercharge, overdeliver, you end up in burnout. But what we're going to do is we're going to get you now, because I've known stuff about her, right? I've had a conversation. We're going to get you out of working those 12-hour days you've been talking about. We're going to change that model so you can charge more and serve more. And we're going to get you to that 15K goal, then that Tahiti vacation you've been talking about. Then, if you understand, and how would we know that? Because over here, we said, where do you want to go? We chronicle their own unique path, the specific one that they've set. Now, I shared with a coach many, many years ago about the goal that I had in supporting kids in the foster care system. And when we had the conversation about how they work, one of the things that was unique to me was like, Tanya, we're going to look at that. We're going to get the information and we're going to get you so you can do that support and that work. And that connected with me so big, like so largely. I mean, it was just that own place to go, yes, I can make that real. That is what matters to them. And if you know what matters to them, this is where you chronicle how your input and how your support can make that happen. So if you have that information, see how that connects because that's what they really care about, right? So you're going to chronicle their options. That's the C here. Chronicle their options. You chronicle the typical path and your unique path, right? Bonus if you know them on your path, okay? So we're good here. Chronicle, we got chronicles going. Okay, looking good. Yeah. Really helps people connect to what they want, connect to what their unique dream is, right? That's why this is so beautiful. And also, when we chronicle the typical path, it really helps us as providers understand what is everyone usually doing, right? I think a lot of us know this work hard, hustle, undercharge, over deliver, burnout, or hoard everything we can on YouTube and Google and try to figure it all out on our own. And we've known that path and we know the downside of that path. And most of us in our experience have witnessed people that are incredible suffer in creating their results for just going through the wrong path, right? The one that doesn't serve them. And so you being able to say, hey, this is what I typically see, and this is why we do it different. It makes it very simple to visualize and understand what you bring to the table for them. So I do love this one. And again, it's just 3 little steps. You could have a long one, but if you get the core 3 things, hey, this is what I see, this is what we do, you got a very powerful conversation piece in this. So now they're going, yes, yes, right? Yes, I like this path. This path sounds good. And so you confirm that. You're going to say, is this something that you'd want to do right now? Is this where you want to go? Do you agree with this vision and path? Does that sound like a plan? So usually people do this and they burn out, but we're doing this. Does that sound like something you'd want? Does this align with your vision? Is it in line with your purpose? I'm not selling myself. I'm asking them, does this sound right? And if they go, actually, I think now that I'm thinking about it, I really want this. Great. We're not moving from confirm yet. We need to go back to chronicle. Okay. Sounds like we're on a different path. So maybe this path makes sense to you. All right. This is a beautiful place to find that confirmation. All right. Or they go, yes, this is it. Is this the vision you have for yourself? Does this matter to you? They confirm this to themselves. This is absolutely it. Well, then we go, can you commit? What is the commitment here? Before we go into the price or the product, we need to instill an imprint that this is what they want, right? And then we confirm their commitment to the time, effort, and availability that it requires to walk that path and reach the vision. This is why. There's this lovely thing that happens in traditional sales that says you pitch and then you speak to the objections. I don't like that. And I don't like that for a lot of reasons. If I'm in a sales situation and I'm going, this is not going to work, this is not, I don't need you telling me why all my reasons aren't valid, right? That's even if they're not, it's not a good process that somebody likes to go, let me tell you why your feelings are wrong. Okay. Not a good way to start off. What we do here is we adjust and say, is this, we work towards those objections in the beginning. So we say, do you have time to dedicate to a plan like this, right? Is time's an issue. And remember, we checked earlier to say, this is for people who have this kind of time, but now we're coming for the commitment. So if they've said, yes, this sounds great, and you go, well, do you have time to work on this? Do you have time carved out that you'd be able to dedicate to something like this? And they're going, sure, heck, I do. Yes. Oh my gosh, because that vision, I want that vision. Do you have the mental space? So what do you have going on right now that you'd be able to focus on this? I'll make it happen. Okay. All right. There's going to be work involved. Are you prepared to do the work? Absolutely. There's going to be effort. You put in that effort. Yeah. Are you ready for it to be different? Yes. Collect those yeses. Because now we know they have time. They have mental space. They're prepared to do the work. They're willing to do the effort. They're ready now for it to be different. There's not a lot of objections yet. So if we moved into the commitment space, now we can go from conversation to sell. That's the convert part, conversation to sell. This is where it changes from the goals and vision to the price and process. Before this, nobody cared how many modules were in it. Nobody cared how many times you were going to meet or any other extra worksheets and fun things and all that they're going to get. It didn't matter because the end result, that vision is what mattered. Nobody is signing up with you because they want to be coached, because they want to learn, they have copywriting or learn LinkedIn or have diversity and inclusion training. I know that sounds harsh, but that's not why they're hiring you. It's the end result of having those things. They want more sales, they want more leads, they want teams that get along and get the work done. That's the vision. That's why we connect to the vision before we ever talk about how, the what, why, and how of your particular product, because it just doesn't matter yet. But if we've connected them to the vision, the path, what they want, that they have time, effort, energy, and they're ready, now we talk about what that might look like. What might that look like? This is where we present the how. It costs this much. This is how it gets you to that place you want to go. That's what we're looking at here. So that was actually quite quick in that space right there. But this is where, now everyone has a different process of what this might look like, but this is where you finally have the permission to have that conversation. And so that can, again, can be broken down into different ways. So while we're here, let's move into some takeaways and how we can use this. So I'm going to go ahead and check some of the chats, and we'll check around for a minute. So we have posting with zero engagement on posts is what people have been asking for. What? Driving me nuts with going the shifts and learning each time. Yeah, everyone wanting to have lots of results without doing any of the work, right? That's a lot of what they want. And but when you keep showing up and you keep doing that, you're going to create that footing. You create that conversation. And that's a big part of us. Just keep showing up, right? And of course, learning some tips, right, from people and experts that we have in our group. So we have the other part of saying I used to get tripped up on wanting to tell them all the things, right? Before we actually get to their vision. And because we think that's the selling point. Like, look how much value I'm getting. Look how many sessions you're going to get and how much help we can get. But the thing is when we do that, we're looking at it with our lens. Right? We're looking at it through our lens where we can see, oh, after 4 sessions, like, oh, you would be able to do this, 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 and this. They don't care about the sessions. They care about you could do this, this, and this. That's what we skip to. That's what we talk about, right? They don't, when you go to a restaurant, they don't show you a picture of all the ingredients and say, do you want this? We eventually make it into a soup. No, they go, here's the soup. Doesn't it look delicious? I can tell you what's in it. But you don't care what's in it if you're not interested in the soup. I don't care what it's made of if I just don't want soup today. I want to know what's in the salad. All right. So what we're going to do is make sure they want soup before we tell them what's inside of it. Okay. That's the process that we do here. So yes, I'm so glad that it's resonating. So let's talk about a couple of takeaways. Anyone up for sharing a takeaway, insight, or even some questions? So I'll go ahead. Christina, do you have anything you want to throw in or add while we're
I just love this training. This is my favorite one that you do. I know I already said that. I just think having the framework and a logical progression of what to build the conversation on just kind of takes away the anxiety, you might
yeah.
have as you go into a conversation like this. And it's so logical, right? Like it just makes so much sense. I think we get nervous about sales conversations because we think, oh, it's about money and all of these things, but it's really about, we teach that sales is about serving. So we're serving them and we're helping them see that what they want is attainable. And we're kind of showing them how they can get to it. And giving a framework of that kind of conversation is just it changes. It changes the game,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
It is a huge mindset shift as we said earlier, go back to that little mindset shift, right? Is that great salespeople are relationship builders who provide value and help your customers win. And in here, all you're simply doing is going through again, is this you? Is this the path you want to take? Is this what it looks like and what you want? Does that feel aligned the way that we do it? Do you have time and energy for this? Let's talk about the details, right? Your whole part of the conversation is asking and listening, not selling. because I hate to say it, but it sells itself in the sense of once you've gotten to that point, they're like, yes, yes, yes. You're like, well, surprise, that's exactly what my product does. So, but by this point, we know that because you've walked with them each step of the way. And if at any point that conversation changes, we know it's not for them, right? And we get to step out of that with graciousness and gratitude, and they can do the same to say, oh, well, it sounds like this requires a lot of effort and probably might not be the best fit for you, but maybe there's something else you have or somebody else you know. That is powerful. When we are focused on getting the sale, right? The sale, when we're just going, I got to close this sale, we are no longer serving that person. They have become an object, right? They're just something, they're a transaction. And that's not the type of business we do, right? It is done, but it's not the type of business we do. And that's why we talk about this as a place that a process that honors and values the person on each side, right? And it's a very comfortable thing because when you can take the burden off, I have to close this sale, instead of going, I just need to connect, clarify, chronicle, confirm, and commit, then the conversion is going to happen on its own. That takes the burden and like, oh, am I doing it? You're just there to show up and serve. So yeah, so Rose says, what if they're not ready to commit right long? How long should you wait to follow up? And how do we navigate the follow-up conversation? So I love this question. So when we get to the end and they're at a point to go, oh, I'm not sure. I don't know. I have to talk to somebody. There's a couple of ways we can look at that. Some situations we go, maybe my conversation wasn't powerful enough, and they're finding a very nice way to not tell me that they don't want it. So, one of the things that I do in that case is when I'm at the conversation point and discussing price and we're about to get off the call, I actually give them permission. I say, well, first I get permission. I go, well, when would be a good time for us to check back in on this to see if you want to do this? You know, what if or I might even go, why don't we take it off the table for now, sit with it, and I'll check up with you in 48 hours or next Wednesday, whatever that means. How does that sound? You go, that sounds great. So then you get that permission and you know exactly how to follow up. Right? That's one way to do it. So a lot of times is we just get permission to go and follow up and say, this is what it is. So the other thing that I like to talk about, and depending again on the situation, is to coach them through that process. To go, I understand that. So what would that look like for you to feel that, like, to know what would help you know if this is the right decision for you? Not again about you trying to figure out, go, well, I would need to know if the price is there, and you're not trying to figure out for yourself. You're asking the questions to help them figure out what they need to know to make that decision, whether it's for you or not. Right. So it's a little more of an advanced stage to actually coach them through the process, but you go, oh, I get that. So what would you need to do? What would you want to figure out? What would you do instead? Right. That's another question that you can ask. Another thing that I like to do is to actually give them homework. And so a lot of times I'll say, so that totally fine. You look at that decision and then we'll go, in the meantime, we talked about a couple things that you want. I want you to try X, Y, and Z. And I'm going to check in with you next week and see how that's going. Let's just see how that process works. Does that work? Would that be okay? And for those of us who are coaches, this is a wonderful thing that allows them to see what it's like to be coached and have someone follow up. And you're showing up purposefully, not just say, hey, did you decide if you wanted to work with me? Instead, you're like, hey, how did that thing go that we tried out? How's that? They see what it's like to be a coach. Now, the last thing that I was going to say there is I give them permission to say no. So a lot of times, if I've gotten to the conversation of the price, I've gotten to that, we've had all of those, a lot of times I'll say, hey, I'm going to send you the agreement, check out the details, see where that fits. And then I'll say, but I want you to know it is okay to say no. This is a safe space. And if you recognize that this isn't for you, I'm going to cheer you on because that means you're that much closer to figuring out what is for you. So please feel no obligation. It's absolutely okay to say no, and I'm going to cheer you on no matter what. So my thing there is really about creating that safe space, especially for those who aren't good at saying no. And so they'll kind of string you along and be like, oh, and then they avoid it. Drives me nuts. I think it drives everyone nuts. And let's be honest, it drives the other people nuts too, because they're like, oh, that person's melishing me again. I don't know what to say. So that is my secret weapon there, is just to say, it's okay to say no. Just let me know. And I say it in a certain way that makes them feel comfortable, but I really push the just let me know because I don't want to chase after you. And I will say that. I'll say, I don't want to, we won't chase after you, won't do any of these things. So please, I'll follow up with you if you want it. If not, totally fine. And in fact, if you need other referrals, I probably should send you somewhere. But I let them know that this is a safe place to say no. So I hope that was a long-winded, long-winded answer to that. Um, but yeah, so do we have anything else? Kelly, any questions from you? Are you doing good? I don't know if you're on set. Well, that's all right. So I think, did that help answer your question there, Rose? Yay, awesome, awesome, good. Yeah, there's a couple of things there. And because you are an M360 member, go check out our session today. We did a lot of deep dives on sales, detailed sales convo. So I think you'll like that a lot. But awesome. Well, then with that said, thank you all for being here and being part of our like community and our session. I'll put it back here. This was the 6 C's of sales. We do these once a month, except for our summer slowdown. But we come together. We have tons of resources in there. So please make sure to keep showing up. Check out our upcoming sessions. Again, we got some branding, some LinkedIn stuff, some copy. I mean, we got you covered. So again, yes, thank you all, and we'll see you soon. Bye.